Before the world knew his name, before the crowds, the speeches, the history, there was a moment, a single moment, that changed everything. A moment so powerful, so unexpected, that it set Barack Obama on a path the world was never prepared for. In a world driven by power, influence, and carefully crafted narratives, one man stands at the center of global conversation: Barack Obama. To millions, he is a symbol of hope, but to those who dig deeper, his story is far more complex. Every leader carries a public image and a private truth. Obama is no exception. The world remembers the speeches, the promises, the charisma. But behind that, decisions were being made that changed nations forever. Some of those decisions saved lives, others sparked controversies still debated today. Tonight, we peel back the layers, slowly, carefully, to uncover the story of the world. This is not just about a presidency. This is about the ripple effects of choices that echoed across continents. Behind every handshake, every speech, every decision, there is a moment of truth that the world never sees. And in Obama's journey, those hidden moments reveal a story far deeper than the polished public image. This is the untold side of Barack Obama, the side that changed the world, shaped history, and still influences the present. Every powerful figure has a turning point, a moment when everything changes. For Obama, that moment came long before he became president. It was in the shadows of Chicago's political landscape, where alliances were built and where the first silent promises were made. Here, he learned the truth. Politics isn't about speeches, it's about strategy, networks, and knowing who holds real power. Obama's rise wasn't accidental. It was sharp, calculated, and backed by people who saw potential far beyond the public eye. Some called them supporters, others called them kingmakers. And as Obama rose higher, the conversations behind closed doors grew darker, more serious, more consequential. For every decision he made publicly, there were 10 private discussions shaping the real outcome. Support came with expectations, power came with pressure, and influence came with a price. Some of the people around him wanted change, others wanted control, and some wanted both. This was the beginning of Obama's ascent. Not the story you hear in interviews, but the story written in silence. When Obama stepped into the Senate, the stakes became higher. Every move watched, every word noted, every alliance questioned. He wasn't just a rising politician anymore. He was becoming a symbol. And symbols attract attention, both good and dangerous. Behind the cameras, a silent race had begun. Who would shape him, guide him, or control his next steps? Some saw him as the future. Others feared he might disrupt the carefully arranged balance of Washington. And with every speech he made, his influence grew. So did the circle of people who wanted a piece of that influence. But Washington has a rule: nothing comes without a deal. And every deal leaves a mark. Obama soon realized he wasn't just navigating politics. He was navigating expectations, pressure, and hidden agendas. Some alliances lifted him higher. Others pulled him into the gray areas where morality and power collide. Every decision he made created waves that reached places he never expected. Places where influence turns into consequences. And as his name grew louder in America, a silent thought began spreading in Washington. He could be president. The moment whispers of President Obama began, everything changed. Supporters multiplied, critics sharpened their knives, and the race for the White House quietly began. But a presidential campaign isn't just rallies and speeches. It's strategy, pressure, and the constant fear of one mistake ending everything. Obama's team worked day and night, shaping his message, analyzing opponents, and preparing for a fight that would test every part of him. The world watched him rise, but only a few knew the cost of that rise. Every rally was an energy storm, every handshake a calculated move, every word a step toward the Oval Office. But the higher he climbed, the more enemies he attracted, critics who dug into his past, searching for anything to use against him. Some attacks were political, others were personal, and some were designed to break him completely. But instead of falling back, Obama pushed harder, turning criticism into fuel and pressure into purpose. His message reached millions. His voice sparked movements. And slowly, America began to believe he could actually win. But what happened next changed not just his life, but the entire world forever. The moment Obama considered running for president, the world around him shifted. Friends became advisors, critics became obstacles, and every step became a calculation. He wasn't just entering a race. He was entering a battlefield built on money, power, influence, and hidden alliances. Behind the scenes, strategists analyzed everything. His voice, his posture, his strengths, his weaknesses, shaping him for a national spotlight. Every move had to be perfect. Every word had to hit. Every appearance had to build momentum. But the higher he climbed, the more pressure surrounded him. Allies pushing, opponents digging, media watching. Suddenly, old relationships resurfaced. Past associations were questioned. Every chapter of his life was put under a microscope. Critics tried to break him. Supporters tried to lift him. And the nation watched closely as a new political force emerged. This wasn't just a campaign anymore. It was a movement, a momentum no opponent could ignore. But with momentum came danger, the fear that one mistake, one misstep could destroy everything. And yet, despite the pressure, the attacks, and the weight of expectation, Obama kept moving. His journey toward the presidency had officially begun. When Obama entered the White House, the world watched with hope, but behind the scenes, he walked straight into a storm already brewing. The first briefings were not speeches. They were warnings of conflicts, crises, and secrets hidden from the public eye. Global tensions were rising. Enemies were shifting. And every intelligence report ended with the same word: urgent. He was the leader of the free world, yet he was surrounded by forces that wanted decisions made their way. Every morning briefing came with pressure. Every night came with consequences. Outside, the world celebrated change. Inside, the walls echoed with the weight of impossible choices. Some days required diplomacy. Others demanded strength. And some demanded silence. Advisors argued. Generals debated. But in the end, the final decision always fell on him. With each signature on each document, the world shifted, sometimes for the better, sometimes in ways no one expected. This was the reality behind the presidency, a battlefield without borders, fought not with armies, but with decisions. Every presidency reaches a moment where the weight of decisions becomes heavier than the power that made them. For Obama, that moment came when hope faced reality and reality refused to bend. Every promise he made collided with political resistance, global crises, and the pressure of expectations he never asked for. And when the world demanded answers, the president found himself standing alone in the storm. There were victories, yes, but every victory carried a shadow. Secret negotiations, silent compromises, moments that could never be spoken publicly, yet shaped world history. Some choices saved lives. Others started debates that still burn today. No matter how hard he tried, the truth remained. Leadership isn't about being right. It's about being responsible. And in those hardest nights when the world slept, a man carried the weight of millions on his shoulders. This was the turning point, the moment where Obama realized that history doesn't remember intentions, only outcomes. Every presidency reaches a moment when the world watches and waits. For Obama, that moment arrived in the form of international crisis. Countries clashed, alliances cracked, and suddenly, the calm and composed leader was at the center of global chaos. Every decision he made rippled across continents, affecting millions who would never know his name personally, but felt the impact of his choices. Critics argued he acted too carefully. Supporters claimed he prevented disaster. But the truth lies somewhere in the space between. There are moments when diplomacy failed and moments when it was the only thing standing between peace and catastrophe. And in those moments, Obama faced pressure unlike anything he had experienced before. Pressure from allies, enemies, and the world itself. Some choices drew anger. Some earned respect. But every choice left a mark history would never erase. Behind every diplomatic handshake was a calculation. Behind every public smile, a storm brewing beneath. He wasn't just leading a country anymore. He was shaping world politics, one decision at a time. And as global tensions rose, one question echoed more loudly than ever. Was Obama prepared for what was coming next? As Obama entered the later years of his presidency, the world had changed. Alliances were shifting, threats were evolving, and the pressure on him was heavier than ever before. Every global conflict, every negotiation, every crisis demanded precision. One wrong move could reshape entire continents. And as threats grew more unpredictable, Obama found himself making decisions with consequences that would echo far beyond his presidency. Some choices protected millions. Others sparked controversies still debated to this day. From covert operations to global diplomacy, Obama's role transformed from leader to crisis manager. Behind closed doors, the world saw only the outcomes, never the pressure, never the stakes, never the cost. Each intelligence briefing carried a new problem. Threats rising, conflicts brewing, alliances cracking under the weight of politics. For every decision made publicly, there was a silent battle happening privately, a battle no camera ever captured. And as the end of his presidency approached, the world wondered, what would Obama leave behind? A legacy of hope or a trail of unanswered questions? But one thing was certain, the impact of his decisions, both seen and unseen, would shape global politics for years to come. As Obama stepped into the Oval Office, the weight of the world didn't just sit on his desk, it sat on his shoulders. Every morning began with classified reports, threats, warnings, and decisions no ordinary person ever sees. Some choices were simple, most were impossible, and every decision had a consequence waiting somewhere in the world. Behind those closed doors, Obama faced enemies he could see and enemies he couldn't. There were moments of fear, moments of frustration, and moments that tested his beliefs more than anyone will ever know. But the world doesn't wait for hesitation. A president must act, even when the truth is uncertain. Some praised him. Others criticized every breath he took. But leadership was never meant to please everyone. And while the public saw calm speeches, the real battle was happening behind the scenes. For 8 years, he made choices that shaped nations, redirected histories, and created debates that still burn today. This was Obama's presidency. Not just the hope, not just the speeches, but the storm beneath the surface. And that storm changed the world forever. As Obama entered the global stage, every word he spoke began shaping more than America. It shaped the world's expectations. Nations watched him closely, some hopeful, some suspicious. Every handshake carried weight. Every silence carried meaning. But behind the scenes, the pressure intensified. New alliances formed. Old ones began to crack. The world expected peace, but politics rarely delivers what it promises. Every crisis pushed Obama closer to decisions that would define his legacy and haunt him for years. Wars, negotiations, threats, diplomacy. Obama faced all of it simultaneously. He became more than a president. He became a global symbol of balance in an unstable world. But symbols carrying too much weight eventually started to crack. And the world had no idea how close he came to breaking. Behind every powerful speech, there were moments of doubt that never reached the public. He carried the weight of millions, knowing every choice could shape the world. Late nights became normal. Silence became a companion. Some decisions made him a hero, others made him a target. But leadership is never about comfort. It's about consequences. Critics questioned him. Supporters defended him. Yet he moved forward, always forward. He learned that progress comes slowly and opposition comes loudly. Through every storm, he kept his composure, a calm face hiding the chaos beneath. But the pressure The criticism, the expectations, they leave scars no one sees. And as his presidency neared its final years, the world began asking the same question. What will he leave behind? After years of decisions, storms, victories, and failures, Obama reached the end of his journey as president. The world he entered was not the same world he left behind. Some say he made history. Others say he changed it forever. But one truth remains. He left his mark, bold, undeniable, and unforgettable. Love him or criticize him, his influence shaped a generation. His journey wasn't perfect. No leader's journey ever is. But he walked a path few could walk, and carried a weight few could carry. History will judge him in its own time, but the world will remember him in its own way. The controversies remain, the debates continue, but the legacy stands. This was the journey of Barack Obama, a journey of power, pressure, sacrifice, and history.